everybody, and welcome back to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am going to be one of the lovely players here. I'm Fletch, and I'm going to be playing a not so lovely, more on the horrendous side of things, 6-year-old detective who just had to level up to become even more of a monster. And joining me is my wonderful friend who has a very big brain and very fun ideas and characters.
What? You're putting me on blast right now? Hello?
This has become a habit and I'm not willing to break it.
Hi. I'm Avi. Give me a sec. I'm Avi, and I will be playing the, disgusting, stinky detective man, Shiro Azumi.
And I look at his stats, he is indeed stinky, but I have my own stinky little child here.
You're even stinkier than he is.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, actually, Camille probably has more proficiencies, which is wild. um, he was not made to fight, though. Anyway, so let's start off this bullying session, why don't we?
I guess so!
Yeah, and where better to start than a crime scene? specifically specifically a murder scene. So, Azumi, what brings you here?
Uh, this is just great, because I feel like, the last FPS Azumi was in, he was called in to look for a couple of missing people. Not really missing, but to like find specific people. Um, so he probably just got called on another case, this one, so he's just here.
It's fine. Uh, yeah. Meanwhile, Camille, this just happens to Camille. Nobody called him here. At this point, he's kind of got a reputation with the with the homicide department of the Vealstown Police, because he's just always there for some reason.
Just how it be.
Yeah, he was probably just walking home one day and heard a scream and just pivoted on his heel to go see who was murdered today.
Oh my fucking god.
Uh, so yeah, Izumi, you show up to it's probably like a decent-ish house in the neighborhood somewhere. Like you you show up there. You got called in because hey, this is looking to be a little bit trickier than usual, and why not have a detective on call? And like they give you the brief, like uh a body was found in their house. It's suspected to be a robbery at this point. Uh got they got shot through the heart with a crossbow and yada yada. And so you get all that, you get all those juicy details, and you show up at the scene, and who else do you see but a 6-year-old?
Why is this child here? I think Azumi like walks onto the scene to like start like his own investigation, and then he sees Camille, and he kind of just looks to the nearest officer like, "Hello."
The officer just looks back at you with the most exasperated expression you've seen, as he's just like, you know this kid?
Uh, yes.
Great.
So this isn't
He's your
his first
problem
time.
now.
Oh,
And he just walks off.
the audible stuttering. Azumi voice. You're putting me in charge of a child?
Yes. You,
He's-
you can tell from his expression and the way he talks to the other officers in the group as he walks off. They have been dealing with this child for a while now, and they are sick of it. You do not know how many times they've had to remove this kid from the crime scene, only for him to come back.
he sees this, kind of glares at the back of that officer before he just kind of like sighs, looks back towards Camille, and he takes a moment to decide what to do until he's just, all right, here we go, and he just like walks over to approach Camille from behind.
Oh boy. You wanna roll your horrible little perception to
Yeah,
see
here we
what this
go.
child is doing?
Yeah. We're already off to a great start, ladies and gents. Modified 24.
Okay, I was gonna roll a contesting stealth just for funsies to see how naturally Camille can play this off, but I think his stealth modifier is a 4.
Oh
He's
no! Oh
so, Azumi, as you approach this 6-year-old, it seems that he is kind of very obviously not paying attention to the world around him right now. Uh, he seems very much lost in thought as he is just, he is kind of just standing in front of the dead body and the crossbow with a very pensive look on his face. He does not seem disturbed by the fact that there's a dead body in front of him in the slightest.
that seems a little suspicious. He files that away for later.
Yeah. Like, he is thinking very, very hard about this too, so there's a fun little fact for you.
Yeah. I mean, he did say he was a detective.
Sure was.
I think how he makes himself known, he just kind of clears his throat and he goes, "Are you giving the police trouble?"
And that's. Yeah.
I feel so bad for Camille right now. We came into this expecting Azumi to get bullied.
I, I guess there's gonna be an equal amount of bullying. Uh,
Yeah.
and Camille just jumps like a good 2 feet in the air uh, as you clear your throat. And he kind of spins to look at you with a lot of shock. He did not expect to see you here. Uh, as he's just like, Azumi, what are you doing here?
Oh, well, they seem to have needed an extra hand, so they asked for my assistance. And, kind of gives him a smile and, looks over to the dead body and the presumed murder weapon. Um, and, um, and he's kind of like, I guess he kneels down beside it as if to, like, start his own investigation, but as he kind of, just says, have you found anything interesting?
Uh, he's still kind of taking a moment to calm down a little. Very glad that Izumi did not ask why Camille is here. uh,
Oh,
cause
don't worry, we'll get to it.
and he kind of just like bends over a little to uh kind of get a better look at the body along with Izumi. He- you were base even while crouching, he's still a little bit shorter than you.
This is just a baby boy.
He's just a little baby boy. Um, and he kind of just nods and points over at one of the very obviously non-police officers in the room. Like, well, pretty sure that person is the murderer.
I think Azumi looks in that direction. Um, and as he's gonna ask the question, I'm also gonna roll insight. Um, but he asks, what makes you think that?
All right, and Camille
My
kind of
fucking
just,
god!
oh, oh no, and who is that on?
Like, I guess he's trying to like gauge like how certain Camille feels about this, and if this is like he wants to know if this is just either like a kid playing detective or like Camille is being like dead serious about it.
Uh, yeah, Camille is indeed being dead serious about this. Like, you can tell it's not just a random guess as he looks uh, at that person with a whole lot more intensity than should be allowed for a 6-year-old. Um, as he kind of just starts with, uh, well, that person is the one who found the body. They apparently had a fight the night before, but they say that they had an alibi at the time because the body is about an hour old, and they only found the body uh, 10 minutes ago. And goes he kind of goes on a little bit talking about how like it's the person had a pretty solid alibi, but because at the time of the murder they were out with some friends, but it just all seems a little bit too perfect. Like all the friends knew exactly what time it was because that person kept on asking for it. Like just a whole bunch of little details that just make everything a bit too perfect. And as he closes up on it, he's like, but I haven't found any proof yet.
Uh, hmm. I think Azumi actually takes that into consideration. You actually see him kind of nod along with your explanation. And yeah, the fact that like everyone knew what time it was to solidify the alibi does seem too perfect. And he kind of like you see his expression like furrow like he's thinking about it. Um and as he's moving to investigate all this, which I'm also going to roll investigation for. um, okay, yeah. As he's moving to investigate,
Okay. So, yeah, it's a dead body. As you look at it, yeah, you can tell that this is the body is about an hour old, if not older. Though it's still not too much though. there is a crossbow bolt still pierced through the heart of this person.
Mhm.
Um, and like the angle of the shot is just the current running story is that like a robber broke in and it went wrong and the robber shot the person before running. Only the angle of this bolt is a bit off. It's instead of going and piercing the heart dead on, it's almost like the person was shot while leaning over. Uh, and why would you be in that kind of position if you were currently facing down a robber?
Yeah.
Uh, and then,
I have
oh,
oh.
you go.
I was about to ask, with the 22, is can he spot any signs of like a forced entry?
Yeah, looking around the room, it is pretty evenly ransacked, which with your 22 also kind of flags a few warning bells, because, like, if a robber really broke in, they'd just be trying to look for a few specific things rather than making the time to evenly trash the entire place. Like, there's even books randomly thrown about, which, why would a robber do that? Um,
Mm-hmm.
you can also tell when investigating the weapon, uh, there's some strange parts that are a little bit sticky, like tape residue.
Oh
uh,
boy.
yeah. And also, when you look over at Camille, you do notice that this child is very much wearing, like, little kid-sized, uh, little kid-sized gloves.
Oh
So there's a
my
fun little
god.
thing for you.
He's physically evidence.
I I gestured to Camille's hammer space. He has black nitrile gloves in them, so that's what he's wearing right now.
Oh my god, this child. I think as he's like taking this in, uh, just he's probably like noting the angle of the bolt. Um, he asks out loud. He doesn't look towards Camille, by the way. He's seems pretty focused on the investigation as he speaks, and he goes, "And why did you come here, Camille?"
Camille kind of jolts a bit, and he's just like, um, well, and he's just like, I'm a witness.
I'm rolling insight on that. Oh, that's a finally something below a 10.
Oh my gosh.
Doesn't
It's
even
still a
matter because
16 though.
yeah.
Um, yeah, you you can tell that Camille actually is a witness, though he's not an accidental witness in this. He was around the area when this happened, but you know.
God. I think he does actually turn to Camille at that, and he's just like, okay. Because what's he going to do? Like, this is a witness. He probably either has to be questioned or will be soon. Um, and so he's just like, well, I can't get this kid off the crime scene. So it's like, well, guess he's keeping an eye on this kid.
All according to Kaikak. Yeah,
And
Camille's he's kind of staring back at you. Let's see. How good are you at acting like a child right now? 60.
God.
um, yeah. To others, uh, he's doing a pretty good job of looking like a slightly nervous, kind of frazzled 6-year-old. Uh, you can tell that he's mostly frazzled by your presence here. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with this 6-year-old at a murder scene.
Well, if he wants to be a detective, he might as well show him a few things. I think it's even kind of just gives a little defeated sigh. That might be a little bit playful. Like he's trying to get the point across that they both know he shouldn't be here.
Kale just gives you a little smile and awkward chuckle.
And then he kind of moves over to the weapon, and he goes, "Did you notice this?"
And Camille pokes his head over Izumi's shoulder, though it's less over and more next to. Um, and he's just, notice what?
Oh my fucking god! And he was that deception or perception?
That was that was deception, cause he actually, let me roll a preliminary investigation to see how much he's picked up so far. Oh, that was
Oh
not one.
no!
Never mind. Uh, he, he was mostly focused on death glaring at that person, I guess.
Oh my god. Camille. Oh
Um,
god. Per
oh,
the audience, that was that one. Yikes.
yeah, and for reference, Camille has a +10 to investigation, so normally he's very good at this. Uh, not right now, though. So I guess scratch that deception roll, he actually hasn't noticed.
Oh my god. Um well, Azumi's already wearing a glove, so he kind of like up well, not really like pick it up, but he moves it slightly so Camille can take a better look at it. And he goes, if a robber did break in, why would they need tape on their weapon?
And Camille kind of nods at that, like, yeah, they wouldn't do something like that. And now he's going to go, like, well, and if it is that person, and if it was something set up beforehand, they probably left. There's probably still tape in this room.
I think Azumi kind of nods at that, like, there you go. That's the kind of vibe you're getting. Like he's trying to encourage you on this, even though this is a murder scene.
It's fun. This is a completely normal bonding experience.
hmm And at that, he does kind of like stand back up and starts to look around. Should I roll another investigation? Oh fucking
Okay.
god.
uh, yeah, I guess Camille probably does find it pretty fast actually because his vantage point is so low to the ground that he can actually see things most people would miss. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, like you probably do notice it too after that. like probably not as immediately because you're tall, but definitely around the time like Camille goes over to one particular bookshelf and kind of squats down to take a better look. And because I would be bullied into saying this at some point during this
Oh my
FPS.
god.
uh, as he squats down to take a better look, uh, he inhales and is just like, Arere? What's this? And kind of
Hang on.
glances over to me.
Hang on. Okay, I guess he's fine, but there is like a brief moment where he's just like, what did you just say? Like that's the expression on his face before he kind of like shakes out of it and comes over.
It's fine. You're a little bit better handling it this time because you heard it once before.
Yeah.
Uh, and Camille kind of gestures for you to like crouch down and does a little point. And he's like, "There's a bunch of tape at the top of this shelf." And indeed, on the underside, there is a bunch of tape that has been basically flattened and smoothed against the shelf so that way if you're wearing gloves and you're trying to feel for something, you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. All right. So this is a shelf. Azumi takes a look at it and he goes, suppose that rules out our robbery theory.
And Camille nods at that and I'll just give you this cuz I look over at Izumi's perception. Um as Camille nods, he kind of has a little what can be best described as a shit-eating grin. uh, Cause yeah, that sure is something, isn't it?
Yeah. He wants to do something about the shit eating grid, but he's just like, no, no.
You know what? This child is already so weird. Um, and let's see. Do another investigation roll. Okay,
Oh my fucking
I
god.
guess.
You can see the entire fucking crime.
I guess he fucking figured it out. Um, for for the dear audience, Camille rolled a nat 20, and like I said earlier, he has a plus 10 to investigation. That was a 30. Oh
My
god.
god. My god.
Uh, so that's uh deception not going so good. But yeah, so he had a very shit-eating grin on his face before he tries to school it into something a little bit less excited. As he turns to Zumi and he doesn't really say anything. There's something else he wants to talk about now that Izumi's here and kind of trapped by societal convention.
I think he has noticed, but is pretending not to. Hang on. Oh wow. Alright, 9 plus 10, that's deception of 19.
Alright.
Ah,
No.
no!
Yeah, so that would with his feature, that would make it a 17, but that does not beat a 19.
We'll get there eventually, don't worry.
It's fine. Camille's a bit more focused on what he wants to ask Azumi. I click
Yeah.
over to my notes and have to take a moment to compose myself because it's just all caps.
What was I gonna say? I think Azumi's again. He's pretending to not have noticed Camille's shit-eating grin, and in fact, you can kind of just like hear him muttering to himself. That'll explain the angle of the bolts, and like he's muttering this to himself. As he like kind of begins to stand up again.
And Camille is. Oh god, how does he approach this?
With all the grace of the 6-year-old.
I guess. Camille kind of looks over at the body and is just like, but, mister, getting shot is kind of a horrible way to go, isn't it?
I think that does get him to turn to look to you, and he kind of raises a brow in your direction, and he just goes, "Camille, are you okay?" Standing in front of a dead body like that, it can't be pleasant.
And Camille kind of looks up at you like, well, it can't be more unpleasant than being the one who got shot, right? All the grace of a 6-year-old, indeed.
Oh my fucking god!
And that's a 21 on his deception, so uh
Here we go. Pray for him.
oh no.
He rolled a nat 20 on his insight. Fucking disgusting.
uh yeah, to basically everyone else in this room, Camille looks very much like a worried child who's kind of just encountered the concept of death uh, and is kind of just trying to parse through it. Uh, but you are not everyone else in this room. You are Shiro Izumi, who just rolled a fucking nat 20 on Insight, and you can
Fucking god.
you can tell that there is a kind of sharpness to his eyes as he looks at you. Uh, that he knows more than he's letting on right now, and he's very much trying to lead you with his questions. He doesn't seem to be like malicious or anything, more definitely curious, mostly curiosity, honestly. He's a detective, but there's a little bit of worry underneath that.
Oh god, is he concerned? Oh shit. Anyway, he starts deceiving. Oh my god.
Did he get a nat 20 on deception?
No. No, but it's still disgusting.
Uh, God.
Ah!
Hey! Beat it by one!
Ah! Oh, wonderful. Love that. Love to see it. God. Um, I am trying to think.
You're so valid.
Yeah, no, if Azumi were a tune, okay, Azumi Azumi's looking at you and his expression has not changed at all. Like he just seems to like look pretty concerned about you. Uh, but again, you're also a detective and by extension not normal. um, the kind of like the kind of vibe you get is that if Azumi were a tune, there would be a sweat drop right over his head. Uh, he has a feeling he knows exactly what you're trying to get at, and he does not like it, and he is pretending not to have noticed. And God, Izumi, what do you say? Um, he kind of, because he just stood back up from the shelf, and he just kind of like lets out a sigh, and he goes, "Well, I suppose, death can be rather tragic, but you're not handling this very well, Izumi."
Well, I get he's
He's, death is rather tragic, yes, but unfortunately, it's something that happens.
and Camille nods at this, like, cause yeah, it sure is tragic, and um, oh,
Azumi's starting to make his way back to the body.
and Camille's just this is too soft for the majority of the room to hear, but I look over at your disgusting perception. Um,
Passive perception 23, baby!
and Camille, it's kind of a, it's definitely a bit soft, as he's just like, well, it is tragic. It's too bad they don't usually come back, right?
That gets him to freeze. You see him pause, and Camille, you get the impression that you just hit the nail on the head. I see you typing.
uh, he does not act normal enough for Uzui.
He doesn't.
uh,
Oh my fucking god. Oh, poor kid. Um. Uh. Oh, jeez. Um. He kind of looks over his shoulder back at you. Do you want to roll a quick perception or insight? Either one.
uh, let's. It is the same modifier.
Yeah, I'll give you something different for either one, but
um, he's probably gonna do insight because that has. No matter how it goes, I'll at least he'll at least find something with that. Okay, never mind.
fucking
That's a
hell.
26.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, how do I put this into words? Um, there is an emotion uh that is being restrained with all the practiced capabilities of someone who is impeccable uh at hiding their emotions and keeping their feelings close to their chest. Um, for the briefest of moments, um, you could have sworn that you saw something on Azumi's face that wasn't his usual, uh, the usual kind of look that you've seen him with. It almost looked like you were looking at someone else.
That's fun. Uh, and just
But again, this man is incredibly good at hiding said emotion. So like it happens like in the fraction of a second. So like you think you like just missed it because he's like again back to that regular expression on his face. Uh but again, you got a he got an unnatural 26. Uh you saw enough to give you a little bit of that nagging doubt.
yeah, it's fine though. He's he's pushed worse, honestly. Um, and he's kind of just gonna leave it at that for now as he leaves the bookcase to walk over to the body along with Izumi.
You probably walk ahead of him, like you pass right by him, and I'm just gonna base it off the goddamn 26. You get the distinct feeling that he is staring directly at you from behind, um, before he finally like seems to snap out of like whatever stupor he's in, and gets close to the body again, and he just kind of like leans over and he goes, "We'll see. The the entry of the bolt is a bit crooked. That would have implied that our victim had been leaning down rather than being face to face with an intruder. They had been standing over the shell."
And Camille nods at that and is kind of just. He is kind of debating on what to do right now because he can tell that he probably struck a nerve there, which is understandable considering. Uh, and but that's that's for perhaps a bit later. Um, because he's mostly just trying to figure out how to make sure Izumi does not run away right now. So he's just nodding along to the explanation as he's like, then the and he points at the person he singled out earlier, like, that makes that person the most likely culprit.
I agree. Uh, he's probably gonna. I don't know how things work in a crime scene investigation, like officially. Like, he's probably gonna flag down one of the officers and, like, let them know what they found out.
Yeah. Uh, Camille does not take his eyes off of that person for the entire time, because, like, murderers have a habit of disposing evidence. Until Azumi showed up, he was kind of just keeping an eye on that person this entire time to make sure that they didn't try to pull anything.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Once that's done, Camille and the investigators probably, like, Azumi probably pointed at the tape, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they probably, like, went over to, like, pull off some of it and see if they could fingerprint it.
Mhm.
So that's what's happening right now, and Camille's kind of just at this point he's probably just like, okay, it's gonna wrap up soon, so I have to do something. And
Think like
yeah, so he kind of just wanders off into a corner that doesn't really have many people and is making a show of like looking at the stuff, even though you had cased that corner earlier and there wasn't anything suspicious about it.
I think Izumi is trying to keep his distance away from you because, God, he doesn't know how you know that, and he's just like, oh, he does not feel good right now.
Oh.
And
Uh,
also, actually, hang on, let me. Okay, never mind. He's fine.
did you make
He's
a oh yeah.
he's got a chattering of two voices in his head, and yet he's still able to zone in.
Hmm.
He's just,
Yeah.
are you looking in Azumi's direction?
Yeah, he's like sending occasional glances over to see if he's being like suspicious enough to bring Azumi over, but no, he's probably gonna have to switch to plan B. But for now,
No.
he's gonna do a little observation.
Are you observation on Azumi? Are you looking for something specific?
Uh, Mostly right now, just like trying to gauge how Azumi's feeling, I guess.
Uh, well, I'm glad you asked, I say as I begin to roll deception. It's a modified 23. Um,
Oh.
again, again, to anybody else, Azumi just seems fine. In fact, you notice him like, Azumi had introduced himself to the local police department in Billstown, so you are kind of surprised to see that he actually is speaking to a few of the officers as if he's met them before, and knows them well enough to like actually like say hello and like ask how their days have been or like how they've been prior to the investigation. Um, in fact, he's smiling. Um, it's the smile of someone who's trying to keep up appearances. Like he's pretending that everything's all right. Nobody else seems to catch on. Um, but you get the impression that he is very good at this.
Yeah, it's it is in line with the little he could pull up on Azumi earlier, but it doesn't make it any less like to see in real life. Like just it feels a little bit wrong somehow. Says the detective who's doing the same exact thing with your fucking deception modifier, Camille. But yeah, I will say that if Azumi's talking to the officers, a few of them do like start talking about Camille because, like, yeah, that weird 6-year-old keeps showing up to crime scenes. Thank goodness you're here. Like, normally
Keeping
he's
an
like
eye
all
on.
yeah, just like more of them chime in with like weird things this kid has done. Like they cannot keep this kid, they cannot keep this kid out of crime. Thank God, thank the gods that you're here, because he's actually behaving a lot more than he usually does. Just little things about how annoying this kid is to have.
Oh my god! Azumi sitting here getting the T trademark.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine, like, inwardly, he's just like, what'd you say about this boy? You want to say it?
Yeah, like one talks about how they had to like fish him off of the top of a window once, like another another talks about the time they're pretty sure they saw him climb into a chimney. Just please keep an eye on that kid. They are begging you.
And Azumi is smiling through it all, but inwardly, he kind of just. Inwardly, he's dying a little. That's the best I can describe it as. This man who has very minimal experience speaking and interacting with children. In fact, he's not great at it. I'll say that. um, but like when they do start to mention that this kid has a habit of just like ending up at crime scenes, uh, I'm not sure if Camille's still like glancing in his direction. There is like probably a moment where Azumi glances back, like, "Oh, you're a little shit, aren't you?"
Okay. He's doing a very bad job of acting casual. Just like, yeah, he guess he has been leaving kind of an impression on the homicide department, hasn't he?
Kid.
uh, uh, just he gets into a lot of things, and just don't worry about it. Surely it's just a bad luck streak. But yeah, he's
With what he just said to Azumi, I don't think he's going to assume it's a bad luck
no,
streak.
absolutely not. The homicide department does so. Just like, wow, that poor kid.
Oh my
But
god.
anyways, here's the latest little shit thing he did.
Oh my god.
uh, just eventually Camille does wander back over, and they kind of just clam up and disperse. Like the
Do be
these
quick
are
with that DNA evidence.
yeah, these are for the most part toon cops. So like they're like at some point there was just this huge crowd of them like all trying to share their own little story because toons love drama.
Oh god.
But like said 6-year-old in question makes them scatter pretty fast. Uh, and Camille kind of just does a little huff like, I'm not that bad.
You've certainly done enough to leave an impression.
Well, maybe they're just easily impressed.
Well, they are police officers. They might just be a little jealous.
And Camille does do a little laugh at that. Because, yeah, he's got opinions about the police, as
Camille
most people in our
handshake
cult do.
Azuki.
Yeah. Uh, and yeah, so you say that and that gets a little chuckle out of him as he kind of puts his hands in his pockets and just he's not quite sure what to do next.
Oh god. I think after a moment, uh sorry, my roommate's like coughing in the
You're
background.
good.
Uh I think after like a second or two, he does seem amused that you laughed at that, but there is like a moment where he kind of just the presence of his of the smile you have gotten so used to seeing him with kind of seems to loosen a little bit,
Hmm.
and he lowers his voice and but he lowers his voice so that nobody else at the crime scene can hear him except for you. Um, and he just goes, "Where did you hear about that?"
Uh, okay.
Woof.
Uh, yeah, that's a deception roll. He's kind of just. He does seem a little bit more nervous than usual, but he also seems like uh, a bit relieved at the same time. He's doing a weird emotion juggle right now. Uh, as he kind of just he's still got his hands in his pockets, so he does a little shrug and angles his face down so it's a little bit harder to see as he's just like, I overheard it from Moria.
Okay. No, two things. He does seem a little impressed that you know Moria too. So like there's a brief moment where he like raises a brow, um and he's about to say like, "Oh, you've met Moria" or something along those lines before you see him kind of like glance away and give another like annoyed sigh,
Yeah,
and he's just he, Moria's really good. Moria's a really good detective. He doesn't really like comment on that.
Camille's kind of just uh, let, let's do you realize, buddy? Okay, he does. It kind of dawns on him that, oh, Asumi doesn't know. He forgot to tell Azumi. Uh, as he's kind of just he does a little laugh like, yeah, I'm actually apprenticing at Moria's now.
That's how does he respond? He kind of again brows raised, and he does look pretty impressed, and he goes, "Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations, Moria's well, you'll be in good hands. She's quite capable."
And Camille nods, like, yeah, he did meet on a aberrations case, so. And he kind of trails off a bit, because there's another reason why he thinks Moria is a good detective. Let's just roll deception. Okay, yeah, you know there's another reason why he thinks Moria is a good detective. Uh, is he saying it? No.
Oh man. Oh boy. For the record, I, me, Avi have not listened to like many of the FPSs. I have listened to the games proper, but I have not listened to like the following FPSs.
Uh,
So I just don't know what that is, I guess.
You're so very valid. Basically, Moria kind of during the aberration game kind of clocked that Camille is very much hiding his talents, and trying to act like a regular little 6-year-old. Lots of times not really doing a good job at it.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so when Camille kind of visited later on to ask if he could apprentice, she uh, basically made him do some tests and called him on his bullshit. uh, now, as far as. So, yeah, she knows that Camille is basically a prodigy.
Oh goodness. But Azumi doesn't know that. um, and he's kind of just like, what are you going to say? Don't think he does say anything. Because again, he's you did step on a nerve.
Oh, he sure did, and um, if Azumi's not gonna say anything, Camille's just gonna he's gonna stomp on that, I guess.
Oh,
Uh, as he's kind of just like, what are you going to do, buddy? He's just gonna go like, well, I know that you know that I know. Um, so want to talk about it?
that laugh is in character, and in fact, you see a slight break in his expression. There's a lot more frustration than you would expect. He just kind of says, "What in public?"
And Camille kind of he actually does pause at that and does genuinely take a moment to uh, consider that, because, yeah, guess not. Time to mentally go through all of the private places I know. Um, and
Uh,
that's a nat 20. So, uh, I guess you can try to roll insight. I don't know.
oh fuck!
Um,
Just yeah, no, he's not. He's not beating it.
oh no.
even with his mods. I mean, first of all, you got a nat 20, that's a
Yeah.
modified 29, he wouldn't have been able to beat that because his modifier is a +8.
Oh my gosh. God, truly psychological warfare on both the characters and our parts. Um,
Oh god.
yeah, so you he looks like he's just doing a regular old little thing. Um, like he is actually doing a very good job at just it really just look like a regular little child deep in thought. Like he's kind of swaying a little, um,
Can
doing little fidgets. Uh,
can I paint this scene a little bit?
yeah.
I feel like by now they're probably trying to like wrap up whatever's going on. So there's like probably this like air of like people are starting to leave and whatnot. And Azumi, you get the impression that Azumi is like waiting to just leave because he doesn't want to talk about this.
Yeah. Uh, and yeah, Camille lets out a little. He even does like a little hum, um, because internally, for the audience, he is having a bit of a crisis as he realizes that he really doesn't know a place where other people can't walk in at any time, because, like, he's pretty sure, uh, like, he does know the library, of course, but he's pretty sure that Azumi won't really trust the library just yet, and a park is also in public, and Moria's office, as good and safe of a place as that is, also has the chance of Moria coming in.
hmm
So he's kind of just mentally sorting through pretty much every place he knows. The elementary school he goes to does come up before he immediately tosses that in the bin. Um, and
Wonderful.
eventually he's kind of just. There's one place he can go to. Uh, as loath as he is, because he knows Azumi's a detective, but he is also a nosy little shit, so it's worth the risk. Uh, as he kind of just looks up at Azumi with a big old little kid grin, like, we can go to my house.
I think he actually looks visibly surprised by that. Like your house, but what about your guardians?
And Camille is, uh, let's roll another deception, so it's, I can't coast off of that 29 forever. Uh,
No.
yeah, his face kind of just freezes for a moment before he very unconvincingly goes, they're out for the night?
He kind of just squints at you.
uh, you can tell that he thinks that there's genuinely no danger of his guardians coming home, and interrupting things. But he's also very much lying about why.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure it's obvious by now that like Camille can tell that Izumi very much does not want to talk about this. Thank you very much. Um, but like you can't come up with like any other place. So like even if he says no, there is the only way you're going to like keep him in place is if you drag him there. So
And I drag him there. Camille just might, cause while they were having this, like the culprit was probably caught because fingerprints and all that, and was like doing their whole little speech on why they killed this person and having a whole little breakdown. That's just happening in the background while they were having this conversation. Um,
that's not even the focal point of this FPS. Come on, guys.
the murder is just a backdrop. Um, and just so things are like wrapping up, and Camille is trying to think of a way to get Zooey. uh, and uh, let's see, what can he do? Because I know what he is gonna do, but the question is, how does he get there? uh, uh, one of actually, you know what? Camille's a witness, so he actually hasn't really been questioned that much yet. Like he still needs his statement to be officially taken.
Oh
Uh,
my
so
god.
so one of the officers kind of like comes over and like looks between the both of you, as he's just like, I need to take the kid's statement, and he's actually not looking at Camille. He's looking directly at you, Azumi.
She's just like there's a brief pause, like you're telling like the kind of like he's he's not sure why you're telling him this. But he's just like, oh wait, I'm looking after the kid.
Yeah, and Camille sees this opportunity, and he he's gonna try and grab Azumi's hand.
Oh my god.
what, what do you think that would be?
I guess Dex?
Alright.
Just hello. Oh my god.
Oh, the
I'm
roll.
not gonna roll. I'm not gonna roll because it would ruin this. But you latch on to Azumi's hand immediately after he's kind of taken aback by this officer coming to telling him that he needs to question that they need to question Kabil, and it just visibly startles him. Are you
Yeah.
grabbing his right hand?
Um, he is just grabbing the hand closest to him, so that is entirely up to you.
Okay, I don't think it really matters that much. Really. Uh, you kind of like he kind of like you kind of like I said, you like notably startle him. In fact, he kind of like just kind of like looks directly down at you when you do this, and there's like the question of what are you doing?
Yeah, and Camille is just um smiling to the officer, uh like like I am going to take out that one phrase, and I am so sorry for what I'm about to do to Izumi.
Oh
Um,
no.
and he just smiles at the officer like, I want to do it with my big bro Azumi.
All right, now I will definitely roll. Ah! Ah!
Oh. Dear audience, that's a 6. We've killed him.
You killed him! You fucking killed this man!
Uh,
You fucking killed him dead! Oh my god.
and he got another nat 20 on deception, so he really does look like a. It's actually.
You ever just get hit by a triple whammy?
I know. Camille's just in full baby mode, like, just talking about how he wants to do it with his big bro, cause it's murder is scary, and
Oh my
and he'd feel
god.
a lot better with good old big bro Zumi there. Um, I is Azumi like blue screening or is he gonna do something?
No, he is blue screened. That was a wisdom check.
Yeah. Uh, oh, I'd hate to see
Like,
what's going on in his brain right now.
uh, for the audience, what's going on in his brain right now? He, Azumi is, internally, screaming. One of his core is, is laughing at his ass off. And the other one is just like, "Oh, that's cute." This is
uh,
going on all at once, and it's probably contributing to why he's blue screening.
yeah, it does not help that Camille got another nat 20 on deception, so he really is just. It does, even to Izumi, look like he genuinely looks up to Izumi and wants him there.
Just to like speed things along.
Yeah, we can probably just quick cut through like the statement and stuff, and as they're out, like Camille's still holding onto Izumi's hand. He does not want Izumi to run off if he lets go. Uh,
Oh my god. Oh.
uh,
Oh goodness. Oh.
and it's probably dark out by now too, so Camille's just gonna start gently dragging Izumi home.
I mean, he's going on pretty easily. I think by now most of the shock has just like worn off. The reason why he's like, um, the reason why he's just moving easily with you at this point is just because he has no idea what else to do.
He has no idea how to deal with a 6-year-old, much less this 6-year-old.
Much less this 6-year-old.
This 6-year-old who's an outlier and very much should not be counted ever. Um, but yeah, so like they're he's taking you on home and like you leave the neighborhood and like start getting more into the actual like town part where there's like more so apartments than actual houses and the like. And
Yeah.
uh he kind of just stops before a very unassuming looking apartment building and kind of just uh he's gotta climb up a little bit to like reach the buzzer and everything, but does does it in a very practiced motion and does like just drag you up to his apartment.
Oh my goodness. Oh goodness.
And I'm gonna do this deception roll at a disadvantage because it is exhausting keeping up baby mode though. Okay! 19 and 19!
19 and only 19.
Yeah. Camille, he's very much
Do,
worn out from keeping up that act for so long, so you can kind of see it. You can see it drop, and to most people it would still be convincing, but to you it just looks very obvious. And so he just pulls out his key and let's do a hammer space roll. Cool. Pulls out his little key and unlocks the door and everything and kind of just lets you in. So
no. I think by now this is the first time Azumi's just resisting because he's just like, are you sure you want to do this now? You do seem a bit tired.
and
He's just looking for any excuse, and you can tell.
and Camille just sighs "Eh, it's fine. You see it all the time." And he kind of realizes his little slip up there and is just oh, what are you gonna do, buddy? Uh, he does not know what he's gonna do. He's just gonna.
I think after that, Azumi's just like, no, you're not getting out of this one, or I'm gonna use this against you.
Oh no.
He's going to pick up Camille
Oh my gosh.
and step inside, close the door, and he sets him down, and he just goes, "What?"
Camille's just gonna. He's just gonna look away. uh, and he's just very softly oh, uh, you've heard the officers.
Right, yes, he kind of pinches the bridge of his nose, and he's just, you're quite the common sight at homicide cases.
And Camille nods at that before looking back at you, and he's kind of just dropped the baby act as he's just well, and pulls it, puts out a hand to shake, I'll talk about my weirdness if you talk about yours.
Kind of stares at this for a bit before he just kind of sighs defeatedly and shakes it and goes, fine.
And Camille nods at that, great. Uh, why don't we go get more comfortable? And starts walking off towards the living room. And Izumi, you wanna see what you can see?
Yeah, let me roll perception. Alright, not bad. That is a modified 22.
Alright. Yeah, not bad indeed. Yeah, with a modified 22, you can tell that it's not really when an apartment has been lived in for a long time, like you can usually tell because it's like full of personal things, like there's a good bit of like pile up and stuff. It does not look like someone's been living here for too long. Like you'd guess like someone has not been living here for like they've been living here for like under a year by a good amount at least. Uh
Mhm.
and you can tell that it is someone living here and not someone's. Uh, cause like as you pass through, like there's not a lot of like personal objects, and the ones that you can see, like mystery books and all the like, very obviously belong to Camille and only Camille.
Oh goodness.
Uh, you,
Files that away for later.
yeah. You also notice the fun little thing I told you in DMs earlier.
Oh boy.
But yeah, Camille leads you to a little sitting area and kind of just plops down on the couch. And by plops down, he does have to like climb up onto it, but you know, it be that way.
um. Okay. Um. I think Azumi sits down, but the way he's sitting is noticeably a lot more closed off than you normally know him to be. Um, his arms are crossed, and you get the impression that he is trying his best to be nice about this. Um, but again, he doesn't like this. Um, but this is again kind of it's notably different than how you usually know Azumi to be. He's he still has a bit of that like pleasant pretense still up. Um, but again, he kind of just takes a deep breath and settles in as he says, "All right, what do you want to know?"
And Camille's kind of just he leans back. He also looks like pretty tense. As he's just like, well, I heard that you died, um, and now you're not. Um, and like that, I don't think you intentionally faked it, did you?
He kind of raises a brow at you. And there's a pause before he goes, "No, I didn't."
And Camille kind of just gives a little nod at that, like, and he's kind of just he's kind of realizing that he did not plan to get this far. uh, and he's just like, well, if you want to talk about it,
He kind of looks amused, and he doesn't like. He kind of glances away, and he goes, "There's not much to talk about. I was on a boat trying to confront these spirit rogues, and I got shot and died.
Like, Camille's gonna roll insight because he is concerned, and you can probably roll insight on Camille too. uh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. He's a little bitter right now.
Fair.
You got a 25 though.
Oh boy.
Is there anything specific you want to know?
Right now he is mostly just like he is kind of starting to realize that the reason why he's so invested in this specifically isn't just out of curiosity and he who knew case, but also because oh, there are he is concerned. That's weird. Okay. Uh and with a 16 you can tell that he is actually pretty concerned about you. He's not trying to hide that. Uh but yeah. So yeah.
All right. With a 25, all right. What do you pick up? Man, you pick up on quite a bit. Okay. Um, Again, he does seem pretty bitter. um, he's not really hiding that. Um, and uh, shoot, he's not hiding that. He looks frustrated, but like, um, it doesn't seem to be at you, it seems to be at the situation at hand. He does not want to be there. In fact, he kind of just wants to leave.
Oh.
Um, and the the animosity in his tone, you realize because he told you that he had been on the boat because he was trying to confront the spirit rogues. Um, uh, the animosity in his tone does not seem to be directed towards the spirit rogues. Um, so there is definitely a lot he isn't sharing about the situation leading up to his death just yet. But he did manage to clock in that you're concerned about him, and I'm gonna be real, with a 25, you get the impression that one, he's not used to that, and two, he doesn't know how to like respond to that, so he's just kind of like pushing that off to the side.
And that is very fair. And it feels just like he kind of sighs like, um, it, if you, I mean, I know I've already said it before, but if you want to talk about how it's like, how it's affecting you, or if you want another set of eyes to look into things,
Hang on. I'm rolling a quick whiz save. Okay. Alright, and thank goodness for advantage on that. Bless you, racial features. Um, you ask, how it's affecting him, or like if he wants to talk about how it's affecting him. You look, there's like this flash of like something that looks a little dark and a little sardonic before he kind of like manages to pull himself together before he like says anything.
Oh boy.
Um, yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah,
Kale's kind of just sitting here. This is not the most thought out plan. He kind of just wanted information because of certain reasons regarding around faking death and coming back from things that were supposed to kill you. uh, but yeah, it just uh, he just kind of sighs like, um, I
I don't know.
kind of pauses at that.
I don't know what brought me back to life. And I do not know how I got here in Inkwell. The past 2 years, give or take, I am convinced that I was dead for that time.
Camille kind of just nods at that, like, that's. Who's gonna do a quick arcana? Because I know this, because I recently looked into resurrection spells for reasons. I need to see if he knows. Uh, he does not. He probably does not know off the top of his head, but yeah, okay. Magic do be wildin'.
Yeah,
And it's just
and he kind of settles down a bit, and he kind of like he probably like if you'll allow it, he might have like picked up like you're trying to put two and two together. um,
yeah.
um, Izumi probably like supplies that well resurrection spells, especially lesser, not those that are not quite as powerful. They usually the target does not come back in one piece. Um, Necromancy is a bit messier than that. Whoever did this is incredibly powerful, especially if they resurrected me 2 years after my death. Please.
And Camille's kind of just nodding at that, because, like, that does track, but he's kind of just. He's doing a little think right now. He's just like, but. So the question is, why? He's muttering about, like, why someone would bring Izumi back, and, like,
Mhm.
it is.
Why, who, and how?
Yeah. Uh, you want to roll perception on Camille's mutterings?
Yeah. Oof, okay.
Oh boy.
Disgusting. That's a 23.
Yeah, okay. Especially since you're, like, close-ish together. Yeah, you can hear Camille kind of mutter something about how, like, it probably wasn't a fan because people forgot about him pretty quickly.
Oh, God.
This was absolutely not meant for you to hear out loud. In fact, Camille, with that perception, you can tell that Camille's not even conscious of the fact that he's saying out loud.
Alright. I rolled a quick deception. He got a modified 19.
Oh boy. Let's do the battle of the modifiers again.
Please.
Uh,
No!
yeah, so
Oh, goodness.
17.
Yeah, no, sorry, you don't pick up on anything.
uh, unfortunate. I'm so sorry for bullying Azumi like that. Uh, but yeah, so he kind of just eventually, uh, eventually stops doing his little mutters and kind of, uh, looks up at Azumi like, if you want to, I can keep an eye out. Uh, I've been looking into some things myself. Oof.
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 Oof. Oh, Camille, baby.
Uh, yeah, he, he, he sure is looking into something, and you can tell from the expression on his face, it's a very serious something. Um, something that seems very personal and probably why he's so particularly interested in your thing.
I think that does raise the brow. But you do see him, like, kind of relax a little, and he just got kind of. I'd appreciate that. He kind of doesn't look in your direction for a moment. Actually, do you want to roll a quick insight?
Sure. Okay, so 17.
Okay, with a 17. Um, hmm. Do you know how when when people when they try to fidget sometimes and they don't have like an actual thing to fidget with, they'll sometimes just like press their thumb into their palm. Do you know that?
Yeah.
um, you notice that Azumi is doing that. Um, in fact, when he looked away from you, he actually looked down at his hand. His right thumb is doing that to his left hand. And with the 17, you realize he's not looking at his hand, he's looking at the glove.
Cool. Camille's just gonna file that away for later.
Yeah, the expression on his face you can't really parse out.
Hmm. That's fun. I let's see. Oh, these socially inept detectives. Camille's not really sure what to do other than kind of just go like, um, well, you don't have to say anything right now. And I guess I'll hold up my end of the deal.
there's probably that pause is probably in character, and he there's a moment before like he finally looks up at you and he goes, "Why are you living alone?"
Camille, let's see. Oof.
Oof.
Yeah, he does look uh, a little bit rattled and hesitant, but it's also kind of like he was preparing for this.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause he knows that Izumi's a detective, and it was kind of a pipe dream to hope to bring Azumi here and have Azumi not figure that out. Uh, and so he kind of just uh, does a little laugh, like, well, um, I'm not really in a position where I can live with my guardian. Uh, there, there is someone. Don't worry, there is someone. Um, it's just, uh, I know how to take care of myself, and it's for the best if there's
For fuck's sake, you're 6.
uh
This is the first time you've ever heard Azumi swear.
oh boy. Okay, that was a whiz. uh so if he failed that whiz save, he probably would have let a little something slip out, but
So,
he's kind of just he he bites back, and you can tell he was gonna say something, but he bites it back and kind of just looks up at you. Goes, uh, yeah, but this is for the best.
who's best? Your guardians? Or you?
Um,
Nobody
it's
deserves to be that lonely.
Gabriel's. Oh boy. I. He's just like, but I'm not lonely. I have my friends at school, and I have Maria, and I guess
And you're solving murders.
Camille does not have a good answer to that, except for just doing a little incriminating shrug. Like, I mean, proves I have the smarts to take care of myself.
There's this, like, incredulous laugh. Like, he can't believe you just said that. And he's just. Oh, goodness. He murmurs something under his breath. Um, if you want to roll perception for that, you may. But
Alright.
in the
He has been busy.
he, he did just like shoot off like a couple of yikes. But you get the impression that what he murmured was an undercommon. Um,
um,
even if you didn't quite catch it. Um,
it's fine. It makes sense because even if he is proficient in it, Undercom is like his third language, which is wild to say for a 6-year-old, but you know. Uh, and he's he kind of just does another little shrug. He does. this conversation. He was prepared for the initial bit, but now he doesn't know what to do.
And Azumi kind of just rubs his face. Um, um, I'll give this to you without having to roll. The kind of like look on his face does seem um a bit more genuine than the usual expression you see him with. Um, he does think you're that was he does think what you said was funny, but also Jesus fuck kid.
It's fine. I kind of just he doesn't really know what to do because you know he probably should have thought this through a little bit better, but you know what? He's constantly in a state of sleep deprivation. Thinking things through is not what he's good at. Uh,
God, kiddo. Um, he just goes, I'm not sure if things are different here in Angwell, but typically 6-year-olds living on their own and solving murder cases is not exactly what we would call normal back in Yedo.
well, it was just like, well, you see a lot of weird things in Ninquell, and uh, if it's not like I could avoid them, you know? And you want to do a perception?
Yeah, let me do that. Okay, it's an 18.
Yeah. With an 18, he's kind of he has been fidgety the moment the conversation has turned to him. Right now um he's kind of fiddling with his watch, you with an 18 you can kind of tell that it's more so to do with uh his wrist than the watch on it.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
And he's kind of just like, I mean, it's not like I sold them myself. Uh, I'm just notice things and other people put them together. Uh, and he's going to do this at disadvantage because you saw him solve a case earlier today. Uh,
I mean his passive is a 23.
yeah, so yeah, it's fine. Uh, yeah, other people believe that he's just good at pointing things out. You have seen him basically do full on detective.
Yeah, and he just I think he misinterprets this.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna be real. I
Listen,
think he
we
just
live for misinterpretations.
he just goes, "Don't sell yourself short. You're the one who found out who the culprit was before anybody else."
Boy. Another disadvantage. Yeah, he's kind of falling apart a bit. Like, no, it was mostly you.
He raises a brow in your direction. He's not buying it. And you
Eventually.
just,
Oh.
I think he just says, "You're good, but you're good at this." And he kind of like does a vague gesture as if to like indicate your deception. And he continues to say, "But there are things you can improve on."
And Camille kind of just lets out a little uh, chuckle at that, and he actually kind of uh, he kind of just drops the baby act in defeat, and like this whole time he's been trying to hold on to some of it, even if he was a bit more relaxed before, but now it's pretty much completely gone. Like he's not bouncing his legs anymore or like doing the normal little idle animations a kid would do.
Hmm.
He's he's just his body language is all different as he kind of just sighs like, I knew this was a bad idea.
I think he kind of chuckles at that, and he just goes, "You brought a detective into your house. I'm not sure what else you expected."
And you get another little defeated chuckle at that. Like, well, I I had the feeling that if someone didn't force the truth out of you, then you wouldn't really tell anyone.
Oh, Azumi, what do you want to say? He's giving me mixed signals.
uh, and it, it's seeing that, and considering they're both kind of frazzled, Camille slides off the couch like, want any coffee or tea or
Oh my god. Just water, I'll be fine.
he nods at that and he kind of just pads over to the little kitchenette. Uh, and uh, he he takes a moment because you do hear like the scraping of a step stool against the ground. Uh, but not long after that, he does come back with two glasses of water. Cause boy,
Yeah. Um boy, what does he say? Um I think he actually like takes a sip first. And he says, "It's not as though anybody would take kindly to it. Man's been dead for 2 years and all of a sudden he's walking around as if nothing happened."
yeah, and you want a real insight on him?
Yeah. Woof! Okay.
Oh boy.
It's a 26.
Yeah, okay. Um, there's he he nods at that, but uh, you can tell that there's kind of like uh, there's a bit of like a dark humor in his eyes at the situation because it's It's almost like there is an inside joke that he is part of right now.
Oh boy.
Uh, before he's like, yeah, no, I can't imagine that would be easy. Then he's going to kind of tap his fingers against the glass like he just realized something like, by, by, by the way, you're not gonna tell Maria about this, are you?
He kind of raises a brow at you, as if the thought had like never even crossed his mind to begin with.
And yeah, Camille relaxes at that because, oh boy, yeah, just,
Nothing we discuss here is leaving this apartment.
yeah, Camille relaxes at that, like, oh, good. Uh, less people who know and get involved, the better.
Oh god, again, he's giving me mixed signals. He wants to ask something, but at the same time he wants to say something else, and I'm like, which one do you want me to do? You know what, screw it.
Oh boy.
It's
Uh,
a okay. Um he takes another sip of his water. And you notice now that by now most of the pleasant facade that you're used to seeing with him is like gone. This is the most genuine you have ever seen him, and even so, sorry, there was an airplane outside and it was loud. Jeez. Uh, um, and he kind of there's a moment where he like kind of like thinks to himself, and he's just like he kind of relents, and he lets out a sigh, and he says, "The only lead I have is that Trickster was there at the time of my death. If there is if there is anything else about what happened at that time, he would be the one to know. That's why I'm looking for him."
and Camille nods and does not say anything. Cause I I have been in FPSs that have accidentally fast tracked that plot line too uh too much already, so it's fine. He's just gonna file that fun little bit of information away for later.
You actually you noticed that when he says that he wasn't looking in your direction, he was looking at the glove again. Um,
How
but
wonderful. He does not see shit, I guess.
was that what was that?
Er,
Perception?
It was an insight, but because it's not for sussing out him being a fucking liar, we have to stick with the 14.
All right, actually, yeah, no. The look on his face again is a little hard to put together. You're not quite sure what it is. But at least he's told you that. And he says, what does he say? How do you say this? You said you've been looking into something similar like this.
And Camille, he pauses for very carefully nodding, like he's trying to figure out how much he can say. Like it's not the same exact situation, but there's some similarities.
Well, necromancy is its own school of magic for a reason.
And yeah, Camille kind of just nods at that, like, yeah, and he actually does look a little bit, uh, he actually looks a little bit defeated at the confirmation that it is necromancy, but like it was expected at the same time. And he was just like, yeah, magic sure can be complicated.
Complicated, but it can be understood. I'm sure you'll find whatever it is you're looking for.
Camille chuckles at that, like, it's not magic that I'm worried about, but thank you.
Kind of raises his brow at that, but it's not going to press any further because he feels as though he's probably pushed the subject enough.
Yeah. Feels kind of, uh, Camille's feeling a bit of the same way, like, boy, they sure did share a lot of things, and he is going to go need to write some things down tonight just to kind of sort out his story the next time he meets Azumi. Uh, it's just like, oh, okay. And he's kind of just like, if you hear anything about the impossible being done without the use of magic, um, could. And he kind of looks up at that chuckle because, hello?
I've been investigating the spirit roads. Continue. He kind of waves a hand for you to go on.
Yeah, that's fair. And he's kind of just like, I don't think it's involved with that, but it sounds a little bit crazy. But yeah, if there's something that seems to be impossible without magic, but there's not evidence of magic being used, can I ask for you to tell me what you learn?
He kind of Hmm. He kind of looks at you like he's about to say something, but then he like kind of corrects himself and he says, "Well, I already promised you that I would be. Well, sorry, God, words. You already promised me that you would keep an eye out for anything regarding my case." Kind of waves dismissively. I don't see the harm in keeping up. Well, calling this a deal and keeping my end of the bargain.
And Camille does grin at that, and he he's just like, thank you, and it it is a painfully genuine thank you.
There's a there's a pause, and where he kind of gives you this smile that is not at all like any other smile you have seen him with. It looks soft and gentle and how do I put it? There's no twinge of like he's trying to please someone, or there's no twinge of like sarcasm. He just seems like, yeah, and he just goes, of course.
And I just holds them.
I do have one more question though.
And Camille looks back up at you.
How much sleep have you been getting?
Uh, and Camille's hand actually, normally you'd, when someone asks you about how much sleep you're getting, you'd like bring your hand up to like check for eye bags or the like. His hand actually goes straight up to his hat and kind of like gives it an experimental little tug.
Because you did seem tired earlier, and from what I've heard, it's not exactly out of place for children to want to stay up past their bedtimes. He is being like serious, like he wants you to be honest with him, but also he is definitely joking with you.
Boy. Uh, Milo's kind of still fiddling with his hat. Like, you can roll insight on him if you want to.
Yeah, here we go. Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh boy.
There was no reason for you to get a nat 20 now of all times.
Yeah, it gets a nat 20 on the easy one. Yeah, he, you know that you've figured out by now that he has been consistently, uh, using disguise self to look more tuned than he is.
Yeah.
Uh, you, uh, and by now you've definitely rolled an investigation high enough to like see through his disguise completely, but he's he's still messing with the hat like it'll do anything, and seems to be internally debating between if he should ask you if his eye bags are that obvious or if he uh or if he should just keep playing dumb. And for reference, yes, his eye bags are that obvious.
What time is it? Like 7 or so? Like, how late would you think it is?
Um, it's definitely past sunset by this point, I think. Uh, Cause the whole murder took a few hours, so like, it's definitely getting late. uh, and let's see. Do you give the ghost buddy? He he kind of does, as he gives a little sigh and um he kind of like takes his hands away from the hat and just like it's is that obvious?
I am a very good detective, is all he says.
And Kayla kind of just uh sighs. Cause yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
uh, he
And
kind
go
of
ahead.
thinks for a moment, like I I mean, it's a little bit under, but I don't think it's been that bad. I mean, I've been getting like 6 or 7. And does Azumi know or want to?
I'm going to roll. I mentioned this before. He knows how to take care of a child in theory. All right, that's a modified 15.
Yeah, with a modified 15, you know that children, they need a lot more sleep than that. What the hell is this kid talking about? Like, that is an amount of sleep that would have been passable if he were an adult. But for a kid, that's like half the amount of sleep he should be getting.
I think Izumi actually laughs at that. You thought that was passable. Goodness. And he makes a gesture and he says, "Bed now."
Now it's Camille's turn to be making whiz saves. 7. He is just staring. He doesn't. You have blue screened him.
Are you going to argue with your bigger brother?
Oh god. He's not recovering. Oh god. You just. Oh, it's revenge time.
It is absolutely revenge time.
Oh,
I think Azumi like kind of sets the glass on the table. Like there is a table, right?
yeah. It's got all the basics.
Okay. In that case, yeah, Azumi sets his glass on the table, stands up and goes over to Camille, uh, picks him up,
Camille's just like, hey, what? What?
takes Camille's glass, puts it on the table, and he just goes, "All right, where's your room?"
Let's see. I I'm giving him disadvantage because he is a tired child. He did not need the disadvantage. he's he's trying to struggle, but he is a 6-year-old. You are a grown man. He's not getting out of the home. And kind of just eventually sighs and gives up and is like, down the hall on your right.
He just kind of gives you a smile and he just goes, "Alright, thank you." And he starts heading that way. Congratulations, you've been bullied into sleeping.
He cannot fucking believe this. Azumi is the last person he expected for this to happen. uh,
I Man, okay, I think just to make it funnier,
oh boy.
I think just to make it funnier, there is like this clear, the way he like gets you in bed, it's obvious that he's never done this before and that he is trying, but he does kind of just like puts you in the bed, pulls the cover over you, and he's just like, "All right, go to bed."
Camille's just sitting here. And he's just like, he does not know what to say other than kind of look at you in disbelief. And it's just like, this is revenge for calling you Big Bro Zoom, isn't it?
I feel like he had been like on his way to the door and he kind of like just stops and turns to you and he has the biggest grin on his face as he says, "Oh, absolutely."
And Camille just sinks down further into his bed with a pout.
I think Azumi sticks around in the apartment a little bit longer just to make sure that like Camille like does actually sleep.
Yeah, it probably does not at all take him a long time to go to sleep.
All right. In that case, he probably brings the cups back into the kitchen, but it's not his kitchen. He doesn't know what to do with them, so he just kind of like leaves them on the counter for Camille to find later. Um,
That is valid.
yeah,
Uh,
and but eventually, once he's certain that Camille has indeed fallen asleep, he'll leave the apartment as quietly as possible. Actually, I should roll stealth for that, huh?
yeah, I'll give you advantage.
Oh, thank God for that. Woo! Okay.
Yeah,
Modified 25. Okay.
yeah, Modify 25 definitely gets you out without him noticing or waking
Hmm.
up.
Yeah.
So,
And as that happens, I want to leave this off with like one last thing, and I'm trying to think on like what it's gonna be. Give me a sec. As he closes the door behind him, make sure it's all like quiet and everything. Uh, in his mind, two voices are rattling off, uh, kind of making fun of him, and he just goes, "No, don't have a brother," under his breath, before he just kind of walks off.
I am so sorry to tell you, Azumi, but you have a brother now. Uh, but yeah, that is probably a good place to leave it. And yeah, this was a
Yeah.
wild ride.
Thank you all for listening in.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
God, yeah. I hope you all have fun listening to this. Uh, honestly, if one of us were a DM, this probably could have counted as a game considering the length. But
Oops.
whoopsie doopsie. We thought we had planned for an hour.
It's fine. Don't worry
It's
about
fine.
it. It's fine.
This is why we went for a time slot where there were no other people. But yeah, thank you all for listening, future listeners. Thank you for letting me bully your detective again, Abby.
Oh, as if
Uh,
I would ever pass an opportunity to bully this detective.
uh, I hope he enjoys having a little brother now.
I mean, he likes Camille. I'll give you that.
That is good, yeah. Uh, but yeah, well, that's where we're gonna leave you all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye. Good time zone. Goodbye.